Do you feel stressed out, overwhelmed, anxious, right? Just constantly nervous about things, not really even knowing why? Well, this might be anxiety. I'm sure we've all heard the term anxiety. We know about it related to mental health, or we know of it, but what exactly is anxiety? My name is Gabriel Arroyo. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist located in Southern California. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to stay up to date with our weekly videos on mental health related topics and healthy coping skills for you to apply in your own everyday lives. So today we're talking about what is anxiety. We know that word, we kind of have an idea about it, but what is it? I've talked about it before in other videos, but now we're going to break it down a little bit more in depth. So anxiety is an emotional symptom that's just normal in our brain. It's our brain telling us something important is going on. It's our fight or flight. It's our warning mechanism telling us that something important or dangerous is happening. So sometimes it's warranted. Anxiety is normal. It's healthy. It's telling us, hey, something's going down, right? So I'm not gonna lie, I get really anxious doing these videos. It's not my cup of tea. I don't love doing it. I do it to help, hopefully, the audience and give you content related to my knowledge and expertise as a licensed marriage and family therapist. But it makes me anxious. Now, is this normal anxiety? Maybe it is something important to me because it is a high value of what's going on. All right, so that's what anxiety is. It's making me nervous. It makes us feel stressed. It makes us feel overwhelmed. Now, what categorizes just normal anxiety into being a anxiety disorder, like generalized anxiety disorder or panic disorder, having a panic attack? What even is a panic attack? If you're familiar with that term as well, a panic attack is essentially when our body just kind of gives up of it can't hold in that anxiety anymore. It has to release it. So that's where we might have trouble breathing. We start hyperventilating. We feel really shaky and nervous. And we have panic reaction to all of the stress and overwhelmed anxiety that we're holding on to. So let's talk about some normal experiences, right? Quote unquote, normal experiences that we would have anxiety. Once again, it's something important is happening. So our brain starts sending that signal, hey, something important's going on. So for me, I was anxious when I had my driving test, right? So if you drive and you remember having that driving test, how excited you might have been, maybe in a negative way or in a positive way of having that freedom and being able to drive. So that's anxiety, feeling that overwhelming stress of something important is about to happen. You're about to get your license, about to have that freedom, it's about to be exciting, or like, oh my God, you're gonna trust me with a moving vehicle? That's stressful, right? So that is what anxiety is, or any other important thing. First dates, first encounters, right? Our mind doesn't know how to deal with these new scenarios. So it becomes anxiety driven. It's something new and something important. So pretty much anything that's going to be new for us is probably going to trigger an anxiety reaction or response. Once again, because it's our brain just telling us something important is happening. And then when it starts becoming maybe not so normal or unhealthy, what would kind of create or make us look at a diagnosis criteria is when we're kind of just habitually experiencing it, even in situations that maybe we shouldn't, right? So I'm having anxiety on a daily basis, right? So we're talking about more times than not, more days than not, and I'm just having anxiety nonstop. So I'm getting anxious about what I'm eating, what I'm doing, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing. I'm getting anxious about all the what ifs in the world. So we talked about what ifs in another video before. What ifs, thinking about what might happen. So if we think about anxiety, it's always going to be about forward thinking. I'm not anxious about what happened yesterday. I'm anxious about what might happen now, what might happen tomorrow. That's where anxiety comes from, is thinking about, oh my gosh, those what ifs. Because my brain is sending out that signal saying, hey, something important's happening. But it might go sideways. It might go bad. It might be dangerous. It might be something to worry about. So stay on edge. And that's where anxiety disorders are going to start coming from. When we're experiencing anxiety just kind of nonstop and there's really no rhyme or reason for it. So what do we do if we are experiencing anxiety at this level, at an unhealthy level where it's affecting our daily lives? Well, absolutely contact a professional, right? Seek someone out that can help with your mental health, with therapeutic intervention and techniques, so that way we learn how to manage anxiety. In some cases, medication is helpful for other people, and that's where we would see a medical professional regarding medication. Now me, I don't do medication treatment, so I do talk therapy where I'm helping with coping skills. So we're changing the way we view things with the way we think, so that way we could address if this anxiety is called for within a circumstance, or maybe it's in that diagnosis category and we need to overwrite how we're viewing things. So once again, am I having anxiety about my first game or my first child, my first date? Absolutely. Be anxious about those things. It's not a bad thing. It's our brain telling us, hey, something important and exciting is happening. Now, I do my job every day and I see clients, I talk to new people. I wouldn't say I get anxious of meeting all these new people every day, but I get excited about it. Now, if I was getting overwhelmed by it and I was getting so anxious that I couldn't do my job because I'm so nervous about those what if factors. What if my client doesn't like me? What if this video doesn't help anybody? What if it gets no views? What if I lose my job? What if I can't provide for my family? What if I'm a horrible dad? What if I'm a horrible therapist? All these what ifs are going to be categorized as that diagnosis. This is when it becomes diagnosable, and this is when we should start seeking some support and help. Post some comments of what your questions are related to anxiety. What symptoms have you experienced that maybe you think is anxiety, or you need some clarification? Maybe you just want some checks of, hey, was this a normal circumstance that I should feel anxious about? Comment below with any questions you might have. I'd love to help out. And then it also helps me to know what kind of videos would be helpful for you. So please subscribe to stay up to date with our weekly videos on mental health related topics and healthy coping skills for you to apply in your everyday lives. And then just comment below with what topics you'd like to see, what's making you anxious, or what questions you have related to anxiety.